The story begins when Tomoya Sujisaki, Ryo Kobayashi, and Aoi Harukawa meet in search of a ghost. Summer ghost to be exact. She has been spotted there every summer for the last few years when somebody plays with fireworks together. The ghost is a woman in her early 20s, has long hair and wears black clothes. Arriving at the airport, they started playing with fireworks, yet the ghost didn't come. They played until the last of the fireworks, and summer ghost with the wind suddenly came and asked what you need from a dead person. Apparently only the one who wants to die can see her. She introduced herself as Ayane Sato. It seems the three of them, Tomoya, Ryo and Aoi, have their own stories of wanting to die. Aoi is an outcast at school. She doesn't have a friend and falls victim to bullying. When she wants to commit suicide, someone prevents her from doing so, and the school still blame her for having physiological sickness. Aoi asks Ayane if being a ghost alone or not. She is relieved that ghosts are on their own. Ayane whispers to Aoi that not everyone can see her, only those who are within the bounds of death can see her. Tomoya wants to see how ghosts perceive this world, but he can only understand later when he becomes a ghost. When the fireworks go off, it's time for her to go too. Ryo is a basketball player, but he will die soon. He has 9 months left. Tomoya loves painting, but his parents want him to study so that he can enter college. 3 of them are still in touch after their first meeting. Tomoya will graduate from high school this year, and he is a year older than Aoi. The next day, in chat, Aoi wonders if she really saw a ghost or not, and Tomoya calls her if anything happens. Nothing happens, so he hangs up the call and says that he arrived at home. But Tomoya goes to the airport again to meet Ayane. Meeting Ayane, she asks Tomoya, "Why do you live?" He said he doesn't really feel alive. Tomoya wanted to know if being a ghost, all his worries and sorrows will disappear. Because knowing that might change something. Ayane tell him, then there is only one way to find out. She pulls Tomoya out of his body and they fly together. When flying, she suddenly let him go and he fell. When panicking, he went into the ground. In his ghost form, he is free. He goes to museums, imitates paintings. No one gets mad at him. Both of them had a lot of fun. Late at night, they were talking on top of the electricity tower. Tomoya asks her, "Why do you kill yourself?" She proceeds to tell her story about getting killed. 3 years ago, she and her mother got into a nasty fight over something incredibly stupid. When she ran from her house and crossed the street in a terrible typhoon, she got run over by a car that ran a red light while crossing the street. She was unconscious at the time. But when she woke up, she was trapped in a small place. She feels like she is inside a suitcase and got buried somewhere. She couldn't breathe and all she could hear was the train in the distance. This is the last of her memories before dying. Her mother is still waiting for her return. Apparently she want to find her body. Maybe if she find her body she will move on. But she retracted her words because the reason she went with him was to cheer him up, and Tomoya returned to his body. The next day he visited the museum again. When leaving, his mother came and asked him why not go to tutoring school, and told him that she will be in the tutoring class to watch him off. When telling that this is for his future, he outrages and gets out of the car. Then he goes to the market to buy more fireworks so he can help find Ayane's body that got buried. By chance, Ryo sees him from a distance. That day at night, after trying to find Ayane's body, he said that there will be exams soon. After he enter college, he doesn't know if he can spend the time to find Ayane's body. Ayane tells him that let's end it here, but Tomoya stubbornly wants to help her. The next day, Tomoya calls Ryo and Aoi to the cafe again. He asks them to meet because he wants their help to look for Ayane's body together. But Ryo didn't want to because he doesn't have that much time left to live and walks out, and Aoi chases after him. Tomoya didn't give up and came alone to the abandoned airport and lit up fireworks one by one. He tried hard to find Ayane's body but to no avail. Tomoya already used all his fireworks and gave up hope. Ryo is tired from running and he tells Aoi to leave him alone. She told him her story, that she was bullied pretty harshly at school. It put her in a dark place, and she started to lose hope. To her, finding a ghost was finding a new answer. The three of them coming together must mean something. After understanding each other, Ryo and Aoi came to help find Ayane's body. Tomoya immediately apologized to Ryo because he didn't know that he had his own situation. But Ryo answered, "You're the one that looks most pitiful." All of them started searching. They all parted ways to find it faster. When Ayane and Tomoya both flying together, she says she is grateful to all of you, that she is glad to have many friends. Aoi comes and says to follow her because Ryo sees a suitcase. Ayane confirms that it is true that her body is in there. They are very happy. Ryo and Aoi come back first, and Ayane talks alone with Tomoya. She hopes that her mother will be at rest after her body is found, and she will probably disappear. She tell him to hang on, and live on before returning to his body. Ayane worried that Tomoya might think that death might not be so bad after all because he had so much fun being a ghost and said sorry for dragging you into this. They rush to the forest. Ryo is tired so they go ahead. Aoi and Tomoya arrived at the place where the suitcase was but the gates were locked and barricaded. Tomoya climbs the gate and slips, but manages to jump over it with the help of Aoi. In the middle of digging he suddenly didn't move and was a ghost again. He entered the realm of death where there is nothing there. But it is also where his whole self resides. He is given two choices by Ayane to become a ghost after burning the firework on his hand or return to the real world. When he chooses to become a ghost, Ryo yells that if he wants to do this, see it to the end, don't give up. After hearing that, Tomoya became aware he has to go back. But Ayane questioned him. Why? What is the point of living? Why cling to the world that always makes you suffer? And Tomoya realized that yes, his life is a chore but it is not over yet. Just like Ryo and Aoi, if you just look it up for a little there is always a new encounter. It turns out that he is fighting with himself and not Ayane. He wakes up and pulls the suitcase off the ground. He cries and Ayane hugs him before she disappears. The next day, Ayane's necklace was left behind in front of her mother's house. Tomoya started painting again, Aoi stood up to stop being bullied, and Ryo died a few months later and can see spring because he didn't give up. They get together every summer while burning off fireworks to talk to Ryo, and Aoi cries when she sees the fireworks going off and Ryo is gone. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss part 2.